Welcome, deep divers, to an exploration into the very blueprints of human imagination.
Yeah, we're going deep today.
Today, we're not just glancing at alternate realities, we're plunging into worlds that are either gleaming with the promise of perfection or crumbling under the weight of utter despair.
It's quite the contrast.
You know that magnetic pull we all feel towards these stories, whether it's a sunlit utopia or a shadowy dystopia?
Definitely.
They don't just entertain, they push the boundaries of what we believe is possible, or perhaps more terrifyingly, what might be inevitable.
And that pull is incredibly powerful. What truly resonates, I think, is how deeply these imagined societies echo our own hopes and fears. Consider this. Dystopian novels alone consistently dominate the charts, especially with younger audiences, making up over 30% of all science fiction sales in recent years.
Wow, 30%.
Yeah. These aren't just gripping reads. They act as potent social mirrors, reflecting our anxieties and serving as crucial cautionary tales.
That's a critical point. Our mission today is to unpack why these genres, utopian and dystopian fiction, captivate us so profoundly.
Right.
We'll explore their rich historical roots, their defining characteristics, and their enduring relevance to our complex present. We want to help you understand why these imagined societies stick with us long after the final page, shaping our thoughts about society itself.
And we'll be drawing insights from a couple of key sources today, looking at how these future worlds are built and explored in fiction.
Exactly. So let's dive into these foundational concepts. We all generally understand utopia and dystopia, but for a deep dive like this, how would you define the essential core of each, like differentiating them at their root?
Okay. Well, at their heart, these are two distinct branches of speculative fiction, exploring the human condition in contrasting yet often intertwined ways. A utopian society, at its simplest, is that ideal state of harmony and prosperity. A world modeled on or aiming for perfection, as you'd find in, any dictionary definition.
Right, the perfect place.
It's a vision where everything seems to have reached an ideal, harmonious state, inspiring us to strive for what could be.
So a blueprint for the best possible future. And if utopia is that shining ideal, what does dystopia truly encapsulate? My mind immediately goes to everything has gone horribly wrong. Is that pretty much the core of it?
It is, absolutely.
Yeah.
A dystopian world is one that has gone horribly, terribly wrong, marked by immense suffering or profound injustice.
Okay.
Often, these are societies crushed under totalitarian governments, ravaged by environmental catastrophes, or simply experiencing total societal collapse. It's an imagined state where there is great suffering or injustice, as our sources highlight. It's really a stark and often chilling warning against unchecked power or the darker aspects of human nature.
That's a crucial distinction. They're clearly more than just speculative tales.
Yeah.
But if they're designed to make us pause and think, which genre do you think, in practice, actually challenges our assumptions more effectively?
That's a good question. Both challenge us, but in different ways, I'd say. What truly resonates is that both genres are far more than mere what-if scenarios.
Right.
They're designed to make us pause and think, to critique current societal flaws, and to explore the full spectrum of human nature from its brightest potential to its darkest impulses.
So they let us grapple with the big stuff.
Exactly. They allow us to grapple with profound questions about society and ourselves. Dystopias often jolt us with fear, while utopias, maybe more subtly, question our definitions of happiness and perfection.
That makes a lot of sense. And it really makes you wonder about the origins of these profound ideas. Where did this concept of an imagined perfect or imperfect society truly begin? Let's take a quick trip through their history, maybe starting with utopias.
Sure. The quest for a perfect society has captivated human imagination for millennia. Its earliest appearance in Western literature, well, it goes all the way back to 380 BCE with Plato's Republic.
Plato, okay.
He envisioned the Kallipolis, that's K-A-L-I-P-O-L-I-S, an ideal city-state ruled by philosopher kings.
Philosopher kings, right?
And what's particularly fascinating, I think, is that Plato actually saw a form of totalitarianism, with these highly educated leaders making all the decisions as a strength for an ideal society.
A strength, wow.
Yeah, he believed their, 50 years of rigorous education would ensure flawless governance.
That's a fascinating perspective, especially when we think about later critiques of totalitarianism. So Plato lays the philosophical groundwork, but it's centuries later that a particular book gives the genre itself its name, right? We're talking about Sir Thomas More's Utopia from 1516.
Exactly. More's Utopia truly cemented the genre. It envisioned an idyllic island with communal living, an equitable legal system, social structures designed for optimal conditions.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, and it served as a powerful critique of European politics and society of his time. With its communal ownership and focus on intellectual and spiritual pursuits, some say it drew parallels to monastic life. It's a classic example of an author using an imagined world to comment sharply on their own.
So utopias were a philosophical and literary fixture for a long time before dystopias really took hold. When did that shift happen, and what spurred the emergence of the darker vision?
Dystopian fiction emerged much later, largely in the wake of the societal upheaval of World War I.
Ah, okay. Post-war disillusionment.
Precisely.
Hmm.
This was a period when optimism waned considerably and global perspective shifted dramatically. It channels the growing anxieties of society, reflecting fears about unchecked technological advancements, the dangers of totalitarian ideologies, and the darker side of that what-if question.
Right.
Its role, as we see in the sources, is to warn against unchecked power, societal decay, and the erosion of human rights themes that became tragically prevalent as the 20th century unfolded.
And we have some truly iconic examples that really cemented the genre, didn't we? Aldous Huxley's Brave New World from 1939, for instance, still feels incredibly relevant.
Oh, absolutely. Brave New World presents a futuristic society that manipulates its citizens through genetic engineering and conditioning from birth, exploring that profound loss of individuality when scientific progress goes maybe too far.
Yeah.
Then, of course, George Orwell's 1984, published in 1949, offers arguably the most chilling warning against totalitarianism, mass surveillance, and the manipulation of truth with Big Brother's omnipresent oppressive rule.
Big Brother is watching you.
That's the one.
And that's where the real aha emerges, isn't it? If Plato's Republic saw a totalitarian approach as a strength for optimal societal function,
Right.
Orwell's 1984 just rips apart its every weakness.
Completely.
It's a powerful demonstration of how the very same societal element can be perceived as either utopian or dystopian, purely depending on the perspective and the lens of the author. That blurring line is absolutely captivating.
It really is. Perspective is everything.
So, with that in mind, let's peel back the layers and look at what makes a utopian world tick. Beyond just perfection, what are the core characteristics of these idealized societies that define them for us?
Okay, well, they typically begin with idealized social structures. These societies, as one of our sources describes, are built on principles of truly equitable resource distribution, transparent and impartial justice, and accessible education for all.
Sounds ideal.
It does. There's a profound emphasis on social harmony, health, and general well-being. You'd find a significantly lower separation between the rich and the poor, and tolerance and empathy would prevail as the primary means to navigate any disagreement.
And when it comes to technology or nature, utopias seem to go one of two very distinct ways, don't they? It's either incredibly advanced tech or this beautiful, almost primal harmony with the natural world.
Precisely. That's a great observation. In the advanced technology utopia, scientific progress reaches its zenith, directly benefiting everyone. Diseases are often a thing of the past. Helpful robots assist daily life, advanced medicines, external modifications for disabilities. It's all commonplace.
So technology serves humanity.
Exactly. Its sole purpose is to improve human life. Alternatively, some utopias achieve harmony by integrating deeply with nature, living within forests or mountainsides with minimal environmental impact, using natural technologies like solar, wind, and water. The goal there is a delicate, self-sustaining balance.
But if everything is so perfect, where's the story? I mean, narrative is driven by conflict, right? Does absence of conflict mean absolute peace in a utopia, or is there a clever workaround?
Not necessarily absolute peace. Actually, that's where utopian fiction gets really interesting. The true insight is that a society utterly devoid of all conflict might actually be stagnant or even secretly oppressive.
Ah, okay. Too perfect is maybe not perfect.
Kinda, yeah. Story is driven by tension, so authors cleverly shift the conflict. Maybe from external societal strife to internal struggles, philosophical debates about the very nature of their perfect existence, or subtle rivalries.
So the conflict becomes more personal, more philosophical.
Exactly. It's through these nuanced frictions that we truly explore human nature, even within an ideal setting. It prevents the utopia from feeling dull or, worse, inhuman.
That's a brilliant way to ensure the narrative remains engaging without betraying the utopian ideal. And central to all of this is the idea of perfect or near perfect equality. This isn't just about economic or gender equality, is it? It feels much broader.
It is far broader, and our sources really emphasize this. Utopias envision a society where economic, government, justice, and gender equality are all seamlessly integrated with environmental sustainability and technological advancement.
So it's all connected.
It's an interconnected web, yeah, where every individual's rights and needs are carefully balanced with the greater good of the community, driven by a collective understanding that progress in one area can't really come at the expense of another. It's an ideal that truly challenges our own societies.
That vision of a beautiful, balanced society is certainly compelling. But as we know, the path to utopia can often pave the way to something far more sinister. So let's flip that coin and dive into the darker side. What defines a dystopian world? One that has truly gone horribly wrong.
Okay, the darker side. Well, the most striking feature in many dystopias is their oppressive social structures.
Right.
These societies are frequently designed to segregate groups, sometimes subtly, sometimes overtly, like in Red Rising, where people are divided into societal colors from birth.
Segregation, yeah.
And the unsettling insight here is how these systems are often initially justified for some greater good, slowly eroding individual freedom in the name of order or efficiency.
Slippery slope.
Totally. Pervasive government control, limited personal freedoms, vast disparities between rich and poor are common, leading to widespread helplessness and despair.
And technology, which we saw as a potential boon in utopias, becomes a terrifying tool for control here. It's a chilling reminder of how progress can be weaponized.
Absolutely. The dark side of technology is a central and terrifying theme in dystopian literature. Surveillance is perhaps the most controlling aspect.
Like Big Brother.
Exactly. Starkly seen in 1984's omnipresent Big Brother, or explored in books like The Rule of One, which delves into overbearing surveillance and population control. We also see things like biotechnological control, genetic manipulation, and themes of artificial intelligence takeovers, where the very tools meant to help society are repurposed for domination.
Scary stuff. And then there's the environment. It seems the physical world often mirrors the internal state of these societies, doesn't it? In dystopias particularly, we often see these desolate, ruined landscapes. How does that environmental devastation connect to the societal breakdown we're talking about?
That's a really key point. Environmental devastation in dystopias is a powerful visual reflection of societal breakdown and human welfare.
It's like the outside matches the inside.
Precisely. Think of worlds with barren, scorched earth or dried-up rivers. Cities appear crumbled, neglected, scarred by disaster or conflict. This conveys a profound sense of loss and decay. And as one source highlights, it often stems directly from the unchecked greed or short-sighted policies of the ruling powers. It translates directly to the impact on society. Scarce resources, widespread health issues, and a daily struggle for basic needs like food, water, and shelter.
Like in the parable of the sower.
Exactly, vividly depicted there, where climate change has ravaged the world. It's not just a backdrop, it's an active player in the suffering.
It really paints a bleak picture, but it also makes you wonder, why are we so captivated by these dark, broken worlds? Why do dystopias consistently pull us in, sometimes it feels, even more than the shining utopias?
Yeah, it's fascinating, isn't it? What truly resonates is how dystopian stories act as mirrors of our deepest anxieties. They tap into universal fears about freedom, privacy, survival.
Things we worry about now.
Exactly. According to a Penn State University study, the popularity of dystopian fiction often spikes during periods of social or political unrest. Think about the Hunger Games rising in popularity during economic downturns. These narratives resonate when real-world concerns are heightened. It's almost like a form of collective processing.
And it feels almost alarmingly relevant sometimes, doesn't it? Orwell's 1984 vision of a surveillance state.
Well, it feels incredibly close to home with today's growing privacy concerns and the data we voluntarily share online.
For sure.
It makes you think twice about how many smart devices are listening in our own homes. That thin line feels very real sometimes.
Indeed. But there's also an odd comfort, maybe, in the extreme.
Comfort? How so?
Well, by seeing our worst nightmares amplified on the page, we're reminded of what we still have and what we desperately need to protect in our own lives.
Perspective again. Right. These worlds are deeply rooted in real concerns. Environmental collapse, digital dictatorship, making them both terrifying and strangely reassuring that we haven't quite reached that point yet. It's a call to action, reminding us that these futures are not inevitable.
So it's more than just a good story. It's a reflection of us and maybe a warning. And both utopias and dystopias, by exploring these extremes, really shine a spotlight on human nature itself.
That's right. The dystopia lens, for example, really brings out the darker aspects of human nature: greed, the lust for power, the desire for control.
Hmm.
In these stories, individuals are frequently trapped in systems that prioritize the collective, or maybe just the ruling elite, over personal freedom, like the rigid, emotion-suppressing society in Lois Lowry's The Giver.
Hmm.
It forces us to confront how easily our best intentions can be corrupted.
And utopias, in their own way, test human nature too, right? They pose those big questions.
Yeah.
How would humans thrive in a perfectly structured society? Would we truly be happier without conflict, without struggle?
Exactly. What would life be like if everyone had everything they needed, if every desire was met? It's not always straightforward.
Like in Le Guin's story, Omelets.
Yes. Ursula K. Le Guin's The Ones Who Walk Away from Omelets. It powerfully shows where ubiquitous happiness comes at a secret, unsettling, and deeply immoral cost. It asks, is true utopia even possible if it relies on someone else's suffering?
Wow. Heavy stuff.
It's a brilliant thought experiment that underscores the philosophical weight of these genres. They really ask us to consider the price of paradise.
As you can probably tell by now, there's a real art to crafting these imagined worlds, something authors grapple with, and something that's incredibly helpful for you, the listener, to understand when reading or even just thinking about how societies function. What are the practical building blocks that define these worlds?
Authors meticulously focus on core elements. First, the government and social structure. Who's truly in charge? Is it a centralized, oppressive dictatorship, or is it an egalitarian system where power is genuinely shared?
The power structure. Got it.
This foundational choice sets the entire tone and reality of the society.
And then technology and science. We've touched on this, but it's crucial. Is technology a tool for progress and liberation, genuinely enhancing life?
Or is it meticulously used for control, surveillance, and suppression? Think of E.M. Forster's The Machine Stops, a classic, where the promise of convenience and connection ultimately masks a profound loss of human autonomy and independent thought, essentially trapping humanity.
So tech, helper, or controller. What's next?
Next, consider the environment and resources. Is the landscape desolate and resources scarce, reflecting societal breakdown and maybe human greed? Or is there an abundance achieved through harmonious living with nature and sustainable practices?
The world reflects the society.
Pretty much, yeah. The physical world often tells a deep story about the values and fate of the society within it.
Okay, I'm finally.
Finally, authors meticulously consider personal freedoms and social expectations. Does the society value fierce individualism? Or is collectivism the dominant, perhaps mandatory force?
Individual versus the group.
Right. Is freedom overtly restricted? Or does it come with a subtle, perhaps mandatory price, like enforced social unity or shared possessions that erode personal choice? These are the elements that create a believable, thought-provoking world that truly resonates.
Makes sense. You need all those pieces.
And through all these choices, both genres grapple with a delicate balance. Utopias must avoid depicting a world where further progress seems impossible, therefore dull, ensuring there's still room for the human spirit to evolve.
Right. Can't be stagnant.
While dystopias, conversely, must avoid descending into bleak nihilism that offers no glimmer of hope or purpose. Otherwise, they lose their ability to provoke thought and inspire change.
Need that spark of resistance. Maybe.
Exactly. They both need to find that sweet spot between hope and despair to offer truly profound commentary and remain engaging.
Wow, what a journey through the light and shadow of imagined societies. From Plato's ideal cities to Orwell's terrifying surveillance states, utopian and dystopian fiction, by exploring these extremes, provides such powerful commentary on the human condition. They don't just entertain, they push us to think critically about what makes a society truly good or horrifyingly bad.
And these imagined futures remind us that the future isn't written yet. It's shaped by our present choices, our collective actions, and the anxieties we choose to address or ignore. These stories aren't just about what if, they're really about what now. So, as you go about your day, maybe think about this.
Yeah.
What aspect of our present society, if taken to an extreme, be it a technological advancement, a social trend, or even a cherished ideal, do you think could most powerfully shape the world of tomorrow for better or for worse?
Ooh, that's a good one. Let that thought percolate, deep divers. Until next time.